Hi everyone, Reverend Melissa Kennedy here. So this year, I'm going to do a weekly reading, okay? So this reading is for 1/5/26 through 1/11/26, okay? So, um, the first thing that comes in with this week's energy is an affirmation. It says, I am on fire. Okay, so it makes a lot of sense for the year of the fire horse, and that fast moving, free flowing energy. And so we're going to be alchemizing, burning off the lower frequencies, the lower densities, the lower vibrations, the people that aren't on our wavelength. You're going to find that more and more they're going to be falling away, and they're not going to be able to keep up because you are moving full speed ahead into your 2026. There's still time to release. Okay, there's still time to let go. Your guides are saying anything that you felt as burdensome, last year, you're still releasing, and that's okay. You need to give yourself the grace to let go. And they're saying conquer your challenges. And how do we do that? We can simply shift the way that we see things and the way that we feel about things, okay? Because the thing that we always only ever have control over is the way that we see things and the way that we react to things, any situation, any circumstance in our life, okay? This is where self-mastery comes in handy. So if you've been doing the inner work, if you've been working on why you get triggered, if you've been working on why certain circumstances or people or situations trigger you, you can simply practice the pause. So what I like to do is I always have the mindset that I don't have to respond right away if it's something that somebody might not be saying something to me that deserves an immediate response. If they're not respecting me, if they're challenging me, if they're not respecting any boundaries that I may have set in place prior to them asking me something, or trying to get me into the same circumstances to react the same way, okay? So you can just simply think to yourself, where's this going to lead me? And you can give yourself some time, and you can say to them, let me think about this. Okay. Or if it's something that's being directed at you in a negative way, you can say, why do you ask? And you can take it a step further and say, now let me see if I understand this. You said, and then they have to respond to what they said to you. Okay. So it's leveling off the playing field. So this will be, what might come in for you this week, okay? It could be at work, it could be in relationships, it could just be out in public, okay? It could be driving. A lot of times, I'm like one of the nicest people on the planet, but get me behind the wheel, and I get like really worked up, okay? Because people will cut you off, and so I have to always work on that to not get into what an idiot that person is, like, oh, that person's in idiot mode, right? Like we all make mistakes driving down the road, or whatever it is the case may be. So we're always being challenged to do better, okay? So if I find myself reacting driving down the road, like somebody stopped at a stoplight and they're just sitting there, instead of honking the horn, I'd be like, okay, they're gonna wake up, right? They're gonna get a clue. And I try to be patient, okay? And I really am a patient person. But it's funny, that's one of my things when I drive. I think it has a lot to do with where I grew up. I grew up in New England, and we do things really quick and speedy up there, and you know, and we might get angry or upset about things, but we never hold a grudge, so we don't have a problem to reacting to situations, and behind the wheel, nobody's there with you. Sometimes my mom's with me and she'll be like, hasn't happened in a long time though. I've gotten a lot better at it. So remember, you might be getting challenged and triggered in some of the same old ways, okay? So that's just part of the game, we get those challenges, and it's kind of like, did we pass the test this time? Okay. And a lot of times when I acknowledge that I have passed the test, nobody else might acknowledge it because they don't know. But I know that I passed the test this time, so I can move forward and I don't have to go through that lesson again. Okay. So also, in this week from 1/5 to 1/11/26, this is when you know you know. This would be high priestess energy, okay? This would be trusting your inner voice, trusting your inner wisdom, trusting what you know, and not letting anyone deter you or throw you off course. Like, say you have a brilliant idea. Say you've been trying to manifest something, right? And you know it's right for you, but you thought, well, I'll run it by so and so and see what they think. And if the feedback is less than savory or not what you expected, so what? You know, everyone has an opinion. You stepped out, you asked for it. They can give you something. It might not resonate with you, but you can take what resonates, leave what does not. Okay. So I always imagine, like, if things come to me and they don't resonate with me in that moment, like I imagine a sheet of paper and then I like crumple it up and then I just toss it in the trash. It's not mine anymore. I'm not receiving that. And I just leave it there. It's good. I don't have to take that with me. It's not part of my story, okay? But always remember that when you ask someone for their advice or you ask them for what they think about something that you might be trying to do, you can't always expect them to be positive, okay? You can't always expect them to understand because they're living their journey, you're living yours. We make our own mistakes, they make theirs. We can witness, we can be a compassionate observer, but we don't have to be all in. We can just say, well, that sounds really good, but you know, you can be diplomatic about it. You don't have to be mean about it or try to discourage that person. So be very careful how, if you're in the position that you're being asked for an opinion or what you think about something, be very careful about what you just fly off the cuff and say to someone as a response, okay? Because this could mean success or failure for that person. They might trust you so much that it could throw them off course, okay? You might not understand what they're trying to do. It might not make any sense to you whatsoever, but just try to be supportive. Try to understand and be compassionate. And just remember that you will be in that position one day. And so you want good energy. You want good karma coming to you as well. So I feel like that's what this upcoming week is going to be about, where we're still being challenged, we're still releasing things that no longer serve us. I find that is something that we're always going to be working on, okay? Each and every day, every year as we move forward. So, um, and what the universe is saying is they're saying, don't worry about anything, okay? Um, don't let the outer stories shadow what your inner journey is, what your story is out in the world. Okay, keep working on that, keep manifesting, and keep creating and dreaming because in 2026, that energy and that focus, I always call it like third eye focus. It's like, yes, you're looking at it with your eyes, like you can see it, right? But in your mind's eye is where it's really powerful. So you're sending that thought out very powerfully into the universe up ahead on your timeline, okay? And so where I see myself, I have a vision of where I see myself and where I'm going. But you always have to remember that you should expect more. You could expect even more from the universe. You could expect even more to happen for you. And you always have to be open for the new doorways that open up, the things that you couldn't have predicted. I don't care how intuitive you are. I don't care how psychic you are. We never have all of the answers laid out before us. We might have really good hits on what it is, okay, and where it is that we're going and where it is we see ourselves, but you always have to be open to every surprise, okay? Every divine appointment, every divine situation that comes up, every person that you meet that's new could be that gateway, could be that doorway in, okay? And oh, am I making that prediction for myself? I could be. Maybe I'm making it for you as well. So keep an eye out for that. All right. And so also I pulled a card, and these are angel numbers. So we got 1414 as our card. And it says on the card, light up. So you can see how it all overlaps. I am on fire. Sorry, that's backwards. The screen is flipped. Okay, that's your affirmation for this month. I am on fire. I have a vision. I have some great ideas. I'm building on them. I'm growing them. I don't even have to share anything with anybody. Nobody has to know. They'll see. They'll see by how I go about things. Okay. They'll be like, wow, look at what happened for her. Look what happened for him. That's really cool. I wonder how they did that. And they might ask you, how did you do that? So, be ready for that. So light up. Good vibes, balance, respect, family, optimism, quality, new connections, and joy. Can you make this stuff up? I always say you just can't make this bleep up, okay? You just can't. I've been saying that for so many years now as I've been on my spiritual path, and just really diving deep and being into my most highest representation of who I am right now, okay? And the message on the card is focus on your needs. So this week, maybe make a list of the things that you want to focus on, what you want to achieve for this year. Maybe just jot down 3 things, okay? Don't overburden yourself, but focus 1, 2, 3. Write down 3 things that you really want to achieve, that you really want to accomplish, and then open up to all of the possibilities. Yes, we are the captain of our own ship, right? We are sailing the seas of our own abundance, right? But we have to be open to all of the unexpected, all the surprises, maybe the glitches too, because glitches also bring us to the next level sometimes, okay? No matter what glitch it may be. Maybe you didn't get the exact job you wanted. Maybe you had a health issue come in. Maybe there's so many circumstances that we view as throwing us off course, okay? But the truth is that every glitch is also fine-tuning us into our perfect destiny, our perfect future, okay? So keep co-creating, keep manifesting. So this is a lighthearted approach makes everything more accessible, more opportunities, a fresh friendship. You see new people coming in, or even an addition to your family on the horizon. Maybe you're planning a family this year. Maybe you have a grandchild coming in. Maybe you're deciding to do foster care. Maybe you want to adopt. Whatever it is, you're welcoming in new people, new circumstances, new energy into your 2026. Remember, I am on fire. Yes, with that burning desire to create the best possible life ever for yourself. Nobody else can do that for you, okay? Um, Positive energy will accelerate the flow of blessings coming your way. Absolutely. So when we stay in the attitude of gratitude and we are grateful for everything, even the glitches, even the hiccups, even the setbacks, you know, we can just say, I don't understand why this happened, God, angels, universe, but I accept that it is still for my highest and best good. Okay. And so when you get into that way of thinking, beautiful things happen, divine appointments happen, connections happen, love finds you. Okay. Love can find us in so many ways. So there's one more thing I want to sense in on. And that is our chakra for the upcoming week, okay? So we have a lot just being brought to us about letting go and about what we're manifesting, okay? And to keep a focus on that, keep a clear plan, but make sure you're just open to all of the possibilities. You're not overthinking it, you're not over directing it or over driving it. You're staying open to all of the possibilities. And so this week will be about throat chakra. And if you have a hard time speaking your truth, we all struggle with this, okay? Whether it's at work, whether it's with relationships, whether it's with family members. Um, your guides, angels, higher power is asking you, no matter what, to speak your truth. And I'm hearing, even if your voice shakes, find the strength, find the power to speak your truth always. And this is a good way to stay healthy. So our mental health is important. So for me, I always found that, I would always bite my tongue, or I wouldn't say things, even though the thought would come to mind, like I always was about preserving other people's feelings, okay? But then I found out, because I wasn't acting in the moment, that the one that I was hurting was me by not voicing exactly how I felt in the moment. Look, some of us might be mind readers, but we can't read it right all the time, right? Like we can read people's thoughts and feelings sometimes, or maybe just their feelings, and you can sense into that. But people might not know how you feel, so it's very, very important that you express how you feel and not worry about how it's received. Okay? And I've been doing that a lot more lately. Like I really share how I feel, because I've always been the kind of person that just keeps on going. I don't hold any resentment or anger towards anyone. If we have a disagreement, I'm not holding a grudge. Okay, that's just, thank God I didn't have that kind of personality, because that's really detrimental to your inner house. Okay, because this body that we travel through this life with is it's our temple. You have to look at your body as your temple, as your safe space for your soul, for your spirit, okay? And you have to house it and protect that at all costs. But you also have to know that you need to express yourself freely and don't hold things in, okay? So even if you trip up and you're not able to say it right in the moment, when you're speaking to that person again, when the opportunity arises, say, "Oh, that you just reminded me. Remember last time when we spoke, you had mentioned whatever it was that kind of triggered you, and you wanted to say something, or you needed to say something, but you were worried about hurting that person's feelings or reacting in a way that wasn't positive or healthy. Okay, you didn't want to jump down their throat or anything like that, right? Though maybe you felt like you wanted to. So it brings you back in to remember to keep those things brief. Okay, so you bring it up and you allow the person to metabolize and respond, and then say, "Oh, okay, I didn't understand that. Thank you so much for clarifying that for me." And then if they say something still that doesn't settle within your spirit really well, you can say, "Well, um, that really hurt my feelings," or whatever the emotion was. Okay, so make sure that you express how you really feel. Super important, because if you're an empath, if you're a clairsentient person, you're not just feeling feelings, like you're feeling the other person's feelings behind the words, behind the intention. So you're feeling that on a whole other level. So if you are an empath, if you are clairsentient, please do not hold your feelings or emotions in. It's not going to serve you. It brings dis-ease. It can make you actually physically ill, okay? And then you get into repetitive thought patterns. So we don't want those, because that's like being stuck, okay? When we have repetitive thought patterns, it is a certain level of stuck. And you never want to be stuck, because that is throwing you out of your peaceful place, your heaven on earth. We're supposed to be on that frequency and that vibration that we are intentionally creating our heaven on earth at all times, even though we don't control everything in this physical reality. So I know that was a lot, but it's a lot to think about. So I hope that this reading helps you to navigate this upcoming week. And I will be back again with the reading for next week. Until then, I am wishing you light, love, peace, and blessings of all kinds. And if you like this reading and you know anyone that would benefit from hearing this, please share this with someone and give a like and a comment so that I know that you are here. we're here. And remember, it doesn't matter if you find this out in the future sometime, there's a message here for you, okay? If it resonated, if you found it, it was for a reason. That's how energy works. Um, and oh yes, I am still going to be holding space um, every month. The last Monday of every month is a healing circle and chat, and I sense in and get more guidance for the upcoming month. Okay, and it is for all spiritual seekers. It's absolutely free, um, and I hold space. And it is 7 p.m. Central Time, the last Monday of every month in 2026. So hope to see you there. We have a lot of great spiritual seekers, okay, in our group. And it doesn't matter what level you're on. Trust me, there's something there for every level, okay, of spiritual seeking. So, see you next week. Bye bye now.